we are going to discuss a project titled as Determining the Factors that Affect the Length of Stay and Total Cost for Emergency Appendicitis, and we are going to rank the hospital based on these factors. The team members are myself, Sharanraj Balasubramanian, Vignesh Dhanapal and Vinod Kumar Raja. I will give a small introduction about appendicitis. Appendicitis is a medical emergency in which the appendix is inflamed. It needs a surgery to be removed. If it is not treated promptly, there is a chance that the inflamed appendix will burst, spilling the fecal material into the abdominal cavity, resulting in a potential life-threatening infection called peritonitis. Being one of the most common operative intervention, the length of stay for appendicitis is typically short. But the timing of emergency appendicitis depends on many factors like operating room availability, staffing, convenience, acute of illness, surgeon preference, and anesthesia, and so on. Consequently, the length of stay affects the total cost incurred by the patient. Data source. The data source for the project is from the Cerner Healthcare Database, which is a real-time database. We got access to this database with the help of Dr. William Paiva, who is Executive Director for Center for Health System Innovations. Purpose and goal. The purpose and goal for this project is that we are seeking to discover the factors that affect the length of stay and total charge for emergency appendicitis patients with respect to different hospitals across the different geographic regions in United States of America. To determine these factors, we are analyzing a total of 8 million episodes of 840 patients between the year of 2008 to 2012. From this result, we are going to rank the hospital considering its location, bed size, catheterization facility, teaching facility, acute status of hospital, etc. These ranking across geographical regions are drilled down to the census region, which will help the patient identify and choose facility according to the emergency and convenience. Now we know the purpose and goal for the project. We now head to the data preparation phase, which will be discussed by Vinod Kumar Raja.
Thank you, Sharan. I am Vinod Kumar and I will be discussing on what we did in data preparation stage, the procedure we followed, the issues we faced and how we overcame them, and then move on to explain our findings in exploration stage of modeling. Let's start with data preparation. Clearly, the need for data preparation is that the raw data is either unpreprocessed, incomplete or noisy, meaning it might be erroneous or have outliers. So what we do is prepare the data for modeling by cleaning it and then transforming it if necessary. Let's take a look at the 5 phases of data preparation and how we went about it. In our data access phase, we collected data from a single source, Cerner Healthcare. Dr. William Paiva, Executive Director of OSU Center for Health Systems Innovation, granted us access to Cerner Healthcare dataset, which approximately had 8 million records and 91 variables. In data consolidation phase, we concentrated on 3 things: preparing a codebook, entering data, and examining the constraints. Now a question arises on the need for the codebook. Whenever we handle large data sets, we might miss out some golden nuggets that would help fetch us some great results. In order not to lose them, we have to take some precautionary measures like preparing the structure of the data, its contents, and layout of the data set. In short, it will give us a real feel of our data. Note that the codebook will constantly get modified as we move on. Our codebook helped us to understand the data clearly when it was hard to interpret from the Cerner's data dictionary. During data entry, we were able to sense the humongous size of a dataset. Though it had its own advantage of being a CSV file, it had its disadvantage of carrying about 8 million patient instances. Forget bothering about analysis. At least to get an understanding of the data, there was this necessity to split it. So we split the dataset into 8 parts with 1 million each, and also we had to make sure that no patient instances were repeated or missed out. After splitting the data and analyzing it, we realized that we had some constraints. Some of them were patient details only between the year of 2008 and 2012. All the patient episodes were that of emergency cases, and though appendicitis had 3 different ICD codes varying with the impact of peritonitis, our data was an aggregation of all these 3 codes. This slide shows the snapshot of our codebook. Now that we have consolidated data, we understood that it was time to clean it. So we had to structure the data first and then extract it without errors. One of the major discoveries in the data cleaning phase was a repeat instance of patient encounters. For every patient in average, there was about 4 duplicate entries. As our analysis was on length of stay and total charges, and as this was embedded in each patient encounter, we decided to remove the duplicate entries. During data extraction, we faced the problem of shifted columns. Many of the columns jumped from one column to another, and we had to put it in the right place to start our analysis. When the attributes were offset by one field, we used the gender as a reference column to shift it back to its original place. But when attributes were offset by multiple fields, we were not able to place it back in the right column because of the null values. After discussing this with the client, we understood that they were not recoverable and hence had no other option to but drop them. Now that our data is clean, we have to transform the data. We checked for data independence and violations of normality and found that we will be able to discover the need only after modeling phase, in fact which we found and transformed our data. This will be explained by Vignesh in later part of this presentation. Moving on to data reduction stage, our data had few zero values for total charges, which is one of our target variables. After research, we found that these values are because of coverage by insurance and decided to remove it. With this prepared data, we now head to modeling phase where we start with exploring variables. We start with inferring descriptive statistics of target variables. Let's start with total charges. We see that the total charges for majority of the encounters is clustered around $33,000. When we perform summary statistics, we see that the mean total charges is around $37,300, which is close to the value of $34,000 published by several studies in archives of internal medicine. We also note that the minimum total charges is 19 cents, whereas the maximum total charges can go up to $533,000. Now let's check whether these are potential outliers or not. When we drill down, we found that for total charge of 19 cents, the length of stay was 0 days, so we cannot neglect this data. When we perform similar kind of analysis for $533,000, we found the length of stay was 66 days. Now this is quite reasonable price for the length of stay of 2 months, depending on the criticality, hence we cannot neglect this data as well. Repeating the same kind of analysis for length of stay, we see that for majority of the encounters, the length of stay is clustered around 0 to 4 days. When we perform summary statistics, we found that the mean length of stay is 4.8 days. Now it is noted that the maximum length of stay is 140 days. Let's drill down to see if it's potential outlier or not. We found that the total charge is only $4,000. After research, we found that though the length of stay can be as long as 140 days, the total charges can be as low as $4,000, depending on the given that the rest of the amount is covered by insurance. Now let's head on to exploratory data analysis, which we performed using Tableau. Let's start with patient demographics. This chart gives patient count by geographic regions. We see that in our data, majority of the encounters is from southern region. In fact, there's a pattern where Midwest, West, Northeast and South has contributed the ratio of 1:2:3. This chart shows the patient count by gender. As predicted, male has contributed majority. In general, males encounter appendicitis more commonly than females, and this holds true. Now this chart shows the patient count by hospital bed size range. We see that majority of the data, the hospitals with bed size more than 100 but less than 500 has encountered maximum number of patients. We found this quite interesting, and we drill down, we found that hospitals with bed size range more than 500 has charged about $65,000 in average, whereas hospitals with less than 100 beds has charged about $31,000 in average, though they did not have any catheterization facilities. Now this is why patients have visited the hospitals with bed size range more than 100 but less than 500. Now this chart shows the patient encounters the type of admission. Type 7 shows the admission through emergency, whereas maximum of the data has been classified into type 1. After analysis, we found that when a patient visits a clinic, he is ordered by the doctor to get admitted upon physician referral, and that is why majority of the data has been shifted from type 1 to type 7. This chart gives the patient count across hospitals. We see that hospital ID with 189, 610, 192, each from different region have encountered maximum number of patients. When we perform drill down, we see that each of these hospitals has not only has the length of stay but also has the total charges less than that of their corresponding regions average length of stay and total charges, and that is why these hospitals have received maximum number of patients. Now that we have cleaned the data, prepared it, and now as we have incurred some some benefits from the analysis of data, now let's head for modeling phase. how we went about modeling, what are the challenges we faces will be explained by Vignesh. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinod. I will deal with the modeling part. In our data set, input variables consist of categorical as well as continuous variable. Half of them are continuous variable. So the process of converting continuous from categorical using dummy variable is not an option here. So we have to use the modeling technique which allows us to give continuous as well as categorical input variable. And we landed with these three modeling techniques: decision tree, neural networks, and logistic regression. Among these three modeling techniques, decision tree and neural networks accepts both continuous as well as categorical target variable, whereas logistic regression accepts only categorical target variable. Ours is continuous target variable, so we have to transform it from continuous to categorical. And these are the steps we followed. And one easy way of doing that is to calculate the overall mean for target variable and assign value 0 if it is less than mean and 1 if it is otherwise. But this will mask the effect of the target variable. What we did is we found the variable which is highly correlated to the target variable, and this is admission source in this case. And one more interesting factor to note in our data set is the patient count is not evenly spread across all the regions. So we have to block this variable. So we block the region variable. We split our data set according to the region, and within each region we split it according to the admission source, and we calculate the mean for mean across all levels, and we assign values 0 and 1. Based on this, we are able to transform the target variable from continuous to categorical. We did the same procedure for the other target variable, which is length of stay. First we found out the correlated variable, and which is discharge disposition ID, and we block the variable sensex region. The same procedure. We split the database into region wise, and within each region we split it based on the discharge disposition ID, and across each level we measure the mean and we assign 0 and 1 for these variable. Now that we have transformed our target variable, we have to go into the modeling part. Before modeling, we have to partition our data, and we partition it into 3 units: training, testing, and validation. And after we build the model, we try to find the accuracy of the model in predicting our target variable. And here are the results. And logistic regression has the upper hand here. This is not the only reason why we chose this model as our final model. Our primary goal is not to predict the target variable, but to rate the hospital based on that. Only way we can do this is using the logistic regression, because there is an option to give a hospital as a reference and compare the other hospital based on the reference value. So we go into the logistic regression results, and these are the fit statistics for the model, and the R square is 42%, which is pretty reasonably good R square, and 42% implies that you are able to explain 42% of the total variability of the target variable using this model. Now that we have built our model, next step is to rate the hospital based on the model, and these are steps we followed to rate the hospital. First is we split the database into sensex region wise, that is Midwest, Northeast, South, and West, and we calculated the mean for each region. And next step is, after calculating the mean for each region, we try to find out the hospital which has the same charge as the mean charge. For example, if you take the Midwest here, the mean is 26,469, and the hospital 192 has the same mean as the same charge as the mean charge here. So we use 192 as a reference hospital and compare the other hospital based on this reference hospital. And this is the result. Sensex region is Midwest, reference hospital is 192, and we compared it with all the hospitals in that region. And if you see the estimate here, if it is whenever it is greater than 1, the hospital which is being referred will be having the higher mean charge than the reference hospital. Similarly, we calculated for all the regions. This is Northeast, West, South, and West, and we did the same procedure to rate the hospital based on the length of stay. So we tabulated all the results, and the tabulation results will be explained by Sharan. Thank you.
Original vision was final product. As we discussed earlier, the vision of this project is to rank the hospital region-wise based on the length of stay and cost. With the logistic regression model, we were able to compare and see which hospitals are having low and high values for charges as well as length of stay. In our datasets, there are lots of hospitals with only 0 charges. So after filtering out all these hospitals, now we have only less number of hospitals, so we were able to do a comparison model. It is well an obvious fact that the total charges depends mainly on the length of stay in the hospital, and it is proved here. We have split the charges as mean, low and high values, as well as the length of stay as mean, low and high, depending on all the regions we have. we can clearly see that the hospital present in the mean and low of charges was also present in the mean and low of the length of stay. But if you see, the hospital present in the high category is not present anywhere else. So we lack details about individual hospitals. So if we want to do a better comparison without any glitches, we need more data about the individual hospitals. Lessons learned and how it applies to the industry. The first is time management. Time is very precious, you all know about that. We learned how to finish our target for each deadline in time, which is a must in all industries. The second is model selection and analysis. Model selection is a very important criteria for analysis. Better your model, better is your result. Teamwork. Every industry looks for a person who can be a good team player because it is very important for the success of a company. We learn how to work together and handle things efficiently as a team. Thank you.